Okay, so how does this look in your thesis? It will appear also in chapter 2 after the method of the literature review. So first section is the method on how you did the literature review. You are transparent about the number of papers, all of these things, blah, 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 blah. And then you talk about the main body of the literature review. You talk about section 2, which is not anymore about the method, not anymore about reporting what you did, but it is about what is in the literature. So you practically report what you found in these themes, what you found relevant from all of this literature, like the technology, the regulation is important, the finance is important. So that's why I say, I already mentioned a little bit, like the main body is first you start with the topic, you define the important things that are relevant for your topic. What is cryptocurrencies? What is blockchain? If that is relevant, what is a startup? Who have studied in general cryptos and startups in general? And then you go into details. So the first part of the main body is usually kind of a general and clarification about the concepts. That's why it's here. Start with the definitions of your topic. Also, you can use the same strategy of the inverted pyramid if that is relevant for the first part. Like you can talk about cryptos in general, cryptos in business, cryptos in entrepreneurship. So you narrow it down a little bit, and then discuss the conceptual themes. What is important, because it will be very helpful. That it will give a structure to everything else. And something very important is that if you should ideally you should start collecting data after you are done with this, because then you know what you will collect. Also, if you do quant, is the same. You need to set the map. Probably if you do a quantitative, it will finish with something like this, but with arrows, like technology increases, like investment in technology increases crypto funding, because in quantitative literature review from a quantitative paper, you also need to set the hypothesis at the end. We will talk a little bit about the hypothesis later on, but in quantitative methods, but it will look very similar to this. Increase in regulation maybe decreases crypto funding. Increase on financial access increases crypto funding. Increase on technology investment increases crypto funding. So you also set the relationships. So the difference between a qualitative and a quantitative is that the quantitative will have like a effect or relationship expected between the concepts. We will talk about hypothesis in quantitative, but that's the idea. That's the idea of how the literature review works and how it should be done. You talk about the important concepts in general, crypto funding in this example, crypto funding startups, the main thing. And then you go into details. What about what these themes are important in the literature? The financial aspect, the technological aspect, and then you unpack that financial aspect important in terms of cost, capital cost, or alternatives, and then regulation. Regulation is important in terms of auditing, or in terms of risk. Maybe it's the opposite. More regulation reduces the risk, maybe something like that. So you have to talk about each of the themes and then report. So it's a bit tricky. How do you report? But that's basically the spirit of that. Like you talk about main issues and then the themes, you go one by one. So I think that's the end of the literature review. It takes time. You need to read. You need to be smart about how you present it. It's impossible not to. I can't lie that it doesn't take time. But I think if you do a good literature review, then it will be clear how you will collect the data. Because if you are lost in the literature review, if you are not able to identify these topics, then you won't even know how to start, or you won't collect any useful data. So spend time in here. It is important. So that's the end of this lecture. I hope that you like this literature review. Now we'll move to the methods. So that's quite a lot.